I want to take you to this now. Severe flooding across large parts of Limpopo has disrupted the start of the 2026 academic year, leaving hundreds of schools closed and thousands of learners at home. Relentless rains have damaged school infrastructure, washed away roads and submerged bridges, particularly in the Vhembe, Mopani and Sekhukhune regions. The Limpopo Department of Basic Education has confirmed that several schools will not reopen due to safety concerns. Access to scholar transport and school nutrition programs have also been affected. For an update, we're joined by Limpopo Education MEC Mavhungu Lerule-Ramakhanya. MEC, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. When I spoke to the spokesperson of the provincial government a week and a half ago when schools opened, the tally of schools that were damaged by the floods then across the Limpopo province was sitting at 50. We were then told that some of those schools are so badly damaged that the structural integrity of those schools does not allow for the learners to return to those schools because of concerns of safety and security, and that they would be relocated to temporary structures. Can you give us an update about what the final tally is on the damage to schools and what the plan is for the learners who will not be able to return to those schools?
Thank you so much, and good afternoon. Indeed, what the spokesperson said last week was the situation was very bad, but I can confirm now that we have not had rain for the past 24 hours. So it means that we'll be able to then get into those schools and get our team, especially the infrastructure team, to be able to then look at how safe the schools are. But we have then since said we are going to redirect the mobile classrooms that were meant to go to augment in other schools to those schools that are badly damaged. The orders that were done last year will then be able to be delivered to those schools. But secondly, we are also looking at those schools to say where they are in, where the water is going to take time to subside, the areas where the water is still high, we can't risk to even take mobile classrooms. So our priority now, we are on 93%, both in Vhembe and Mopani of the schools to reopen. Our priority now will be safety and making sure that we are able to provide a scholar transport where our learners have to be moved from one school to the other.
Yeah, it is almost 2 weeks of the schooling calendar that has been missed by learners in Sekhukhune, Mopani and Vhembe district. Are there any sort of academic support that will be given to those who have now ostensibly fallen behind on the academic program?
Currently, we had a reflection meeting on Thursday with both the circuit managers and the district directors. We were focusing on saying what are the grades that will really need that support, but equally in primary schools where you have got the grade R and the grade 1 who can't be taken to extra lessons. How do we deal with the time lost? So we had that reflection meeting. We are hoping that our team will be able to come back with the plans and then we put them in motion. Remember, the secondary schools will be easier to deal with than the primary schools, but we are looking at that. Equally, there are areas where the families have been displaced. So we are still looking forward in partnership with the Premier's Office and the Social Development to still go back to get uniform for those learners that are displaced, because you'll know, especially around Mopani for us, the families are displaced and the learners are with the parents where they are staying.
MEC, you mentioned earlier that mobile classrooms that were earmarked to augment certain schools will now be prioritized and redirected towards setting up temporary structures for schools that learners will not be able to return to if it is then found by the assessors that the structural integrity of those schools are beyond what is safe for the occupation of those structures. How many mobile classrooms are we talking about here that have been earmarked already, and will that be sufficient?
It will not be sufficient because remember we are starting by redirecting what has been taken. Normally, when we augment classrooms in a school, we'll be talking about 3 to 4 mobile classrooms that forms a block. So in this instant, it means that in one school, we might be needing 8 mobile classrooms that will actually be creating 2 blocks plus classrooms that the staff and the principal will be able to use as a staff room. So you can see that the numbers that we were looking at of plus or minus 60 mobiles will then have to be spread around the province. But equally, we had appointed contractors to go to 40 schools that are already damaged to start to do maintenance work.
The 40 contractors that were appointed, were they appointed before the floods or were they appointed because of the floods?
We had others that were appointed on the 12th when we were opening schools because we're dealing with the storm damaged from October, November, and then now we are adding the number for the floods because the floods are the priority.
Was that within budget or did you have to apply to the Treasury for a reappropriation?
The province has given us a budget. We have already submitted as well to the Treasury for the new budget, especially for the floods that are happening currently. For the past ones, the province has already given us a budget, so we are moving on that.
Yeah, you spoke about displacements, and I just want to maybe double-click in on that, MBC. A number of roads and bridges were completely submerged and in many ways swept away. There were some erosion and landslide that came in association with the severe flooding, which means that for some learners it will be near impossible or incredibly difficult to actually commute to school and back. Is there any sort of special provision that's being made for learners who are in areas where the infrastructure damage around them is so severe that it might be difficult for them to get to school? Special provision that on part of at least the government to enable them to support or assist them in scholar transport?
Yes, we are doing that. Remember that in areas where it's difficult, including farms where we had children that stays with parents in farms, we are doing that. We want to also appreciate because Sanral and RAL have started to mend at least one side of the roads for us to be able to travel where the bridges have been washed away. So most of the bridges, unless it's very, very bad, they've created a one-way path for us to be able to cross and access the schools. Where children stay with farms in tourism areas, the parents have committed to take the learners out using bakkies that they always use for the tourism that they use when they've got tourists. So it is a mutual agreement and discussions that we are having with all the stakeholders.
Yeah. I understand that the assessment will only be able to truly in earnest and soon now, given that for the very first time really in the last 24 hours, you haven't had rain. But do you have a preliminary figure or idea of the scale of the damage to the schools as a monetary figure? Is it in excess of 100 million? Is it in excess of $500 million? Is it in excess of $1 billion? Do you have a sense of, at least at a preliminary level, where that figure might be?
For us, when we had the last meeting that we submitted to the Prof. Jog, we were already sitting at around 300 million for the schools.
And how long ago was that, MEC?
It's a week ago when we did the assessment. The last assessment was done on the 22nd of January. So only Friday and this weekend we have not been able to consolidate the report.
Yeah, that's quite a significant figure. MEC, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. That is the MEC of Education in Limpopo.